Hey Archery Talk, this is Lucas, and today I've got my review of the brand new Black Gold MODD hunting sight. This sight has been in my hands for a couple weeks right now, so I've really had a chance to dig into it and try to find out everything that it can do. Black Gold was kind enough to send this to me before the sight was actually released, and I wanted to kind of wait until I had spent as much time as possible with this sight before I shared my thoughts and findings on this bow sight with the rest of you. So as the name implies, this is a modular bow sight. Black Gold has built this sight to be able to be custom fit to basically any archer's needs. They sell a ton of different kind of accessories for this sight. They sell a big package with a bunch of accessories included. This is kind of the more basic version of this sight as it is, but it does an awful lot on its own. Let's talk about that kind of modular system from the beginning, and it starts kind of with the pin system. So this sight for me, as you can kind of see there, has come with a vertical 3-pin setup. If you don't want that setup for every situation, let's say you want to have just a 2-pin setup, you do not have to do anything special. You can just pop out the bottom here, and then the 3-pin comes out as as one unit, and you can take individual pins out of there. So you can set it up as a 2-pin, or you can set it up as a 1-pin, and it'll keep working just the same however you like it. I believe you could do the same with the horizontal pins, although I don't have a horizontal setup, so I can't tell you that for sure. They do sell the horizontal scope. You can buy this as a horizontal setup instead of a vertical setup if you would prefer. This is what I've got, and this is what I can kind of compare it to for you. The nice thing about that modular system is that you can also buy an individual single pin for that vertical setup if you'd like to. So again, I've got a 3, if you want to keep your 3-pin and then maybe bring in a single pin for, I don't know, a different style of hunting, or maybe for 3D, something like that, you can absolutely do that. Just pops out the same way and pops back in. I've done that myself. It's very simple to do. I like that an awful lot. And as I mentioned again, if you would prefer a horizontal pin setup, they sell, I believe they come in 3 and 5 pins variants in that. So you can kind of get the pin configuration that works the best for you. It's kind of cool that you can, especially with that vertical setup, that you can kind of just switch that from 1 to 2 to 3 pins as you need to see fit. Or again, let's say you have, I don't know, a 3D tournament coming up. You don't want to be bothered by a 3-pins display, so you just pop in a different cartridge entirely, which is, again, you can pick one up for, I'm not sure the prices of the individual cartridges, but you can pick up a new cartridge and put in a single pin cartridge and keep all of your sightings are all going to be the same besides that being a single instead of a 3-pin setup. This bow also comes with a rechargeable sight light built right in here. So it works pretty well. It's a 5-setting light. So you just you click it on, and then you press the 5 different levels that you want. Anything realistically beyond level kind of 2 or 3 seems to be way too bright for me. But again, if you're, depending on the sun situation, indoors where I am, you're really just looking at level 2 or 3 to kind of get the lighting that you really want on those pins. And recharging it is there's just a simple set screw right here in the sight ring, and you loosen that, and then the light pops out, and then it's got a USB-C adapter, so you can just kind of plug that in and charge it up, and you should be good to go again. And I also should say that the pins are a different size this year. So gone are typically most people chose between a 10 thou or a 19 thou pin. Black Gold kind of split the middle this year and went with a 15 thou pin. You can choose, I think, a 10 thou pin down the line. They're not offering it a 19 at all, but the 15 seems to be a pretty good compromise. I was always in that weird spot where I did not like a 19 pin for my 40-yard pin setup. So if I have a 3-pin design, I'm usually 20, 30, and 40. I just found that 19 thou at 40 yards felt a little bit too big for me. So the 15 feels a little bit better in that regard. A 10 thou might have been too small, especially as I'm an old guy. My vision's not great. The 10 thou can be hard to see in certain situations. So the 15 thou is an interesting kind of split down the middle for Black Gold to choose. And the pins are also ridiculously durable this year. They have changed the design. These are fully machined pins. So you're not going to accidentally bend one of these pins unless you're doing something incredibly dumb, which, I've done lots of dumb things in my life, so it's not impossible that I could do that, but these feel super rugged, and again, Black Gold would call these I think their most durable sight pins ever, and I can see why. They are rock solid in there. The sight, as you might expect from a premium bow sight, and this is Black Gold's flagship, has 1st, 2nd, and 3rd axis adjustability, all of which are micro adjust. So you've seen micro 3rd axis adjustment a lot. You're just kind of turning a set screw and kind of just weeks in and out that way versus really, that's why you need your third axis for that. Your kind of up angle and down angle shots, especially if you're shooting, in the mountains or you do a lot of 3D with elevation changes. That is 100% essential to have third axis adjustability, which is great. But it's the first and second axis, which are also micro adjustable. So you're not, oftentimes with second axis adjustability on sights, you're loosening 2 screws and kind of really trying to position it manually in the right spot and hoping to pinch it down with those screws without moving it again. This one, you just loosen the 2 screws, and then there's another screw down there for the second axis mark, and you just make your micro adjustments with that. Super easy and super kind of way to fine tune that second axis adjustability. And again, the first axis works the same way. I've not tried every bow sight out there, but for my money, this is the best kind of system I've used for making sure that all 3 of your axes are as dialed in as you possibly can be. So let's talk adjustability. And Black Gold has a new dial this year. They have mentioned that it is going to be their most kind of like durable dial, as far as the gears should never be an issue long term. It's a rubberized grip, very easy to hold on to, so even when it's super cold outside. And you could make the entire vertical adjustment in a half of a turn. It's 180 degrees. And I'll kind of give you an example of that. So just there, that's all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. And it's a hard top and a hard bottom, which is nice. And both, again, it's super smooth to go on there. And then if it's got a lockdown, once you press that, you can't really move it around. If you really jam it, you can probably glide it up and down a little bit, but I don't think it's probably great for the gearing to be moving that around a lot once that's locked down. I like that a lot. It's also got a 3-pin setup, 3 individual sight mark setup on there. So you can individually move these wherever you want them to be. There's 3 of them, so you can you could set one as your third, second, and third pin if you'd like to do it that way, or anything you like, just so you know where those marks are really quick. If you're using that third as a floater pin, you kind of set it up down there and kind of make that micro adjustment that way. It's it's easy to move around. They're very clearly visible. I like that an awful lot. It comes with 56 different sight tapes, so you can get really dialed in. It also comes with 10 blank sight tapes in case you'd like to make your own. And it's got, I think, 4, I don't know, you want to almost call them sight in tapes. So you put one of those 4 tapes on here before you've sighted your bow in, and kind of use that to get your bow sighted in, and then it'll give you a number. After you've got your 20 and your 40 and your 60 yard marks done, you can kind of mash that up to one of the tapes, one of the 54 tapes, and then you're good to go. Super easy to set up. I also like that you can pop off this ring. They have different colors available as well, by the way. This is kind of their black one, but I think they have 2 different color options. You can pop that off, and then you can pop off the dial where the sight tape goes. It makes it much easier to put the sight tape on without having the dial kind of in around the pins. It just takes, it's 3 little screws to top off this thing, and then 1 set screw to knock off the dial, and then you can make all your, put your sight tapes on that way. Super easy to use. There's even more vertical adjustability as well. So beyond what you've got here with the immediate quick access of the wheel, if you're finding this is not getting your ranges how you want them to be, you could also make adjustments where the sight is mounted here. So there's just 2 screws in the front, and you loosen those, and then you can slide this up and down here to get even more kind of vertical adjustability and change. Now, again, you're really only going to want to do that when you're setting the bow up initially, but at least it lets you make sure you got your absolute maximum short and long range distances dialed in super easily. It is an immensely adjustable sight, especially vertically. As far as your windage goes, you got a lockdown over here, and then micro adjust windage left to right. Quite a bit of windage adjustability on here. And you could even turn around the windage bar to get even additional adjustability out of there. Especially, they mentioned to me that if let's say you've got the Matthews with the bridge lock, and they've got a bridge lock option for this sight as well, that maybe changes how much windage adjustability you might need. Bridge lock, often you might have to bring that in a little bit more. So you can make all those adjustments here, I'm told, with no issues. I only have the dovetail option here, but there is as I mentioned, a bridge lock adapter. There is a Picatinny. There's something to fit every bow on the market. It does not come standard with the Black Gold mod, but they do offer as an accessory 2 different lens kits. So I think it's a 2x and a 4x lens. So let's say you want to shoot some 3D with this bow, you can pop in the lens kit, help you shoot 3D a little bit better. or you're just like me and your eyes aren't what they used to be and you just want some magnification for when you're hunting, you can still pop in that lens kit as an accessory if you need to. Again, as I've mentioned, everything on here is modular. From the wheel to you can buy extra dials here for your sight tape, so you can get, you can basically set the sight up to work for multiple bows, or to work for the same bow with different arrow weights. So if this is your sight tape for this bow, I could just pop off that dial, put in my other dial if I'm shooting heavier arrows, if I'm going elk hunting instead of deer hunting or something like that. You put in a different sight tape dial and pop that on there, and you're good to go with that. It's pretty cool. And again, if you're using the same sight for multiple bows, because sights like this are not inexpensive, so maybe you have 2 bows, you want to move the sight from bow to bow. That works out that way without any issues whatever. You just save your dial for this bow, and let's say I've got it on a separate one. I'm going to have a different sight tape on there. I make that change, and then I'm good to go without really any other issue. Overall build quality seems like typical black gold indestructible bow sights to me. I should say I've only been using this for a couple of weeks, so obviously I don't have months and years of destructive testing, but I've used a lot of black gold sights on a lot of different bows, and I've never really had a singular issue with any of them. They are truly bulletproof. They have a fantastic warranty program. It's a great company. I've always liked working with Black Gold in the past, and I'm delighted they were able to send this over to me for me to test out and show you guys what I think of it. And yeah, what I think of it is it's pretty darn good. The big issue for anybody is going to be the cost. And this is a new flagship level sight, and it's going to come with a flagship level price tag. And this package, as I've got it on my bow, is going to retail for $630. That is a lot of money for a bow sight. I absolutely understand that, but Black Gold has sights at a bunch of different price points. So if the flagship level sight like this is not what you're looking for, you can obviously get a Black Gold sight to suit your budget for pretty much anybody. And again, every other sight I've had of theirs has been rock solid, so no worries about that. But if you want the latest and greatest technology, that always comes with a cost. They do offer a kit with this bow. They call it the Master Kit, and it comes with a whole extra scope housing so you get both the 3-pin vertical and like a 5-pin horizontal sight setup. Comes with the extra single pin cartridge you can put in there. That comes with the extra dials, the extra grips. It comes with everything you could imagine, and that comes, I think, to just around $1,260 if I'm not mistaken. Which is, again, it's a lot of money, but you're turning that now into like a sight for 3 different bows realistically, with everything it's going to come with, and it saves you a little bit of money instead of buying all the accessories individually. But personally, I just don't imagine the kit would make a lot of sense to somebody like me. I would just kind of maybe buy the accessories I want. I'd be probably interested in buying a single pin and a 3-pin for me. I'd buy that backup cartridge for the single pin. I think they're about $70. It's just not that outrageous, and you have those 2 things, and then you're good to go. Unless you really want the horizontal setup. But again, I prefer the vertical because it feels like it takes up less of the sight picture to me. But anyway, that's it for me, Archery Talk. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps the channel an awful lot, and we'll see you soon.